parts and assemblies. Now we've added some new functionality as to how you can actually display these. So if I go to my design library and click on Configure Toolbox, which is something you can also do from your SolidWorks Programs group, what we're going to bring up is the Toolbox Customizer. One thing that we've added to this is the ability to drill down into any standard that you'd like, whether it's a top-level standard folder or right down into the fasteners beneath that. And when you get into these different fasteners that we've got here, we now have the ability to customize the configuration names of each of these. Now previously versions of SolidWorks, you'd see this column would actually be grayed out. And it's all by turning this checkbox on or off that makes that active. So customizing configuration names is important because when you use Toolbox components in an assembly, the assembly's bill of materials typically by default is going to show configuration names. So you want these to be customized or specific to your using. Now on top of that, if I go over here to my defining user settings, we also have controls for how to display Toolbox components within the feature manager versus a bill of materials, and a unique granular control to each of those. So right now I have mine set to show the name of the part in the feature manager as the file name, and then when we look at the bill of materials on a drawing or the assembly, frankly, we can show the configuration name. Now by doing this, this is the effect that we get. Let me get into my toolbox, show you how fantastic this is. I'm going to grab that little crossed panhead screw. What's great about Toolbox is when you drag a part off of the toolbox, it has a default size. And if you hover over a hole, what it's going to do is auto size to whatever hole you've placed it on. So in this case, it's dropped it down to the standard size that's there. If I drop it inside this hole, again, it auto sizes and auto places concentric and coincident to that hole. Then it gives us the manufacturing purchasable lengths for that particular fastener. So we don't have to select something that's unpurchasable or something that we would then have to manufacture. Now once I've said OK to that, I now have the option to smart mate several other instances of that. So just by clicking inside these holes, it's automatically putting a concentric and coincident mate between my fastener and the hole itself. If you look at the feature manager now, what we're seeing here physically is the name of the part file. Now of course in parentheses you see the configuration name, and that's always been pretty typical. Now if I go ahead and add a bill of materials to this, and yes, I'm adding a bill of materials to the assembly file, which is not new functionality. It was actually about a SolidWorks 2007 function. If we go ahead and drop that bill of materials in, what you'll see down here is a quantity of 5, but it's showing those M6 fasteners as their configuration name, so that specific granular piece of data. So that is the first portion of what I wanted to show in this part of our What's New presentation.